With a machine like the Maverick X3, it's clear that Can-Am likes to think big. You know, big horsepower, big suspension travel, and big fun. Well now, finally, Can-Am has started to think small. This is the Can-Am Maverick Trail, the first 50-inch wide side-by-side from the brand, and we're out here in gorgeous Utah to see if this small package can deliver big thrills.
Now, what makes the Maverick Trail so unique in the 50-inch segment is its wheelbase, sitting at 90.6 inches long. Now, in comparison, the Polaris RZR, the best competition for the new Maverick Trail, has a 79-inch wheelbase, while even a larger machine like the new Yamaha Wolverine X4 only has a wheelbase of 82.7 inches. Now, according to Can-Am, they really pushed out the wheelbase in the name of a more comfortable ride on this Maverick Trail. Now, when it comes to power, buyers have two options: either an 800cc V-twin making 51 horsepower, or a larger 1000cc making 75 horsepower. Both are hooked to Can-Am's quick response CVT, and the brand says that this is the exact same transmission used on the larger and much more powerful Maverick X3. Sitting in the Maverick Trail, you notice the new width right away, especially when the doors are installed. Now, unlike the little kind of quarter doors that other brands give you, Can-Am gives you a full door which comes all the way up to your shoulder. Now, these are great for protection from flying mud, water, and debris, although there is an issue. Especially for people with wide shoulders like myself, it does force your left elbow in tight to your body, so you're constantly kind of being squeezed by the door, and it makes you sit in this really tight driving position. Now, if you go for the nets, it kind of does away with this problem, but I will say I like the protection of the door, and although it's a little bit uncomfortable, I would still go for this full door setup. Inside the cockpit, a low seat with great bolstering has a really nice driving position. You sit nice and deep in this machine, and it feels like a low-slung sports car. Now, the steering column tilts, so just about any size rider can find a comfortable seating position, and headroom was never an issue. Looking at storage, it's ample and at hand thanks to a small bin just in front of the steering wheel along with a large glove box. Now, the cup holders are neatly integrated into the floor, and they're actually worth mentioning because Can-Am does cup holders right. These ones contain rubber inserts which actually hold on to your drink. Exterior storage includes that hard-mounted box at the rear of the machine, which can handle up to 300 pounds, while towing is pegged at 1,500 pounds, and the Maverick Trail has a full 2-inch hitch receiver. Riding the tight 50-inch trails of Utah, the width and the length of this Maverick really came into focus. The width because, frankly, we couldn't have gotten to many of the most scenic lookouts that we made it to with anything wider. The trails we were on were true 50-inch trails, and that's why Can-Am built this machine, to give its customers access to more of these small trails. Now let's talk about the length. It did become a little bit of a problem on these tight switchbacks, and we had to do a few 3-point turns to navigate the really tight stuff. Now, the trade-off for that? Excellent stability in such a small machine. At high speeds, the Maverick Trail feels confident and composed. There's none of that front to back bucking you get out of a smaller wheelbase. And to add to that, the Trail has a steering wheel that communicates everything to the driver really well. Going through long corners, the rear end of the trail likes to just step out, but never in a scary way. Once again, that long wheelbase sort of allows you to feel everything the Maverick Trail is doing, but it never feels out of control. It never sneaks up on you. It always feels like you know exactly what's going on. Now, the way the power is delivered also lends to that smooth competence. Even with the 1000cc engine in sport mode, power never overwhelms this machine, and jamming your right foot to the floor doesn't leave you feeling out of control. In the Polaris RZR, when you jam the throttle, it isn't hard for the machine to feel kind of jumpy and right on the edge of control, whereas in the Can-Am Maverick Trail, you feel like you're in control at all times and the machine always lets you know what it is doing. Now, one other downside to that long wheelbase, well, that's a worse breakover angle, which means that it's easier to get hung up on things in the middle of the machine, but I can say that in my 2 days of riding with the trail, we never had a problem. And besides, along with an entire range of accessories, Can-Am will sell you rock sliders, so what else could you possibly need? Opting for a Maverick Trail DPS model will set you back $13,695, including transportation, while the basic model will leave the dealership for $11,659.
So after spending a day out here on these trails, one thing is plainly obvious. The Polaris RZR better look over its shoulder because it has some real competition in this Maverick Trail. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got more riding to do.